Good morning, everybody. It's Peter here from AJS, also representing our sister company in New Zealand, G&A Warburtons. And it's once again my delight to take you into a jeweller's workshop somewhere in Australasia. And this week we're heading over to sunny Hobart and the even sunnier Kirra-lea, Caynes. Welcome, Kirra-lea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
It's great to see you, even though you're a little bit blurry, or from my perspective you are, but hopefully other people are getting a better view. Yes. Now, Kirra-lea, this week we're tackling vacuum-assisted casting of settings. So would you like to tell us what we're in for today?
Yeah, easy. So with sand casting, it's quite a basic setup, and we are pouring hot metal into a cold mold, and our only assistance is gravity. So this vacuum assistance is adding an extra assistance. So we're not just relying on gravity, we're also using suction to pull the metal down into the mold. So it's just an extra help, a little bit of extra help, particularly for things, if you're casting things with claws, sections of the design that are little tiny bits that need to come straight down. It's really great for that, to really assist the flow of the metal to get down into lowest recessors of tiny bits of detail.
Excellent. Okay, Kirra-lea, you just came across a bit muffled to me there, but hopefully it wasn't that muffled to other people.
Okay.
But the gist of it is you're going to use that vacuum to get that metal down into where it's supposed to be quicker and get a better result. Is that the story?
Yeah, we're using vacuum suction to control the flow of the metal a bit more.
Okay. Now, what's the setup that you've got in store for us today?
So it's your regular sand casting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Our clay, our flask, all my tools. But you might notice this looks different. So this is a vacuum bed or a vacuum table. So this is actually just a water bottle with some holes drilled in it. And I've got my vacuum cleaner right here attached to it.
The good old Hoover.
Yeah, but it didn't quite fit, so I just wrapped some tape around to get the fit better and create more, of a seal there, so that when I turn my vacuum cleaner on, all the suction comes out of this little section here, and that's the part that we're gonna pop our flask on, and it's gonna draw the metal down through our flask. So this is just made from bits and pieces. You could probably get from Bunnings, maybe. I actually purchased this one from Craig Dabler in the United States. It's a bit of hefty postage to get it to Australia, unfortunately, but I really, really was keen to give it a go, and I'm not as clever as most people, so I couldn't go to the hardware store and make this myself. I'd much rather pay someone a lot of money to get it here in Australia for me to use.
Yep, and it's ready to go.
Ready to go.
So how long have you had it then, Kirra-lea?
Like 3 months.
Oh, okay. So you've given it a little bit of a workout?
A little. I haven't experimented with it as much as I was hoping to. So today I'm going to be sand casting findings. So like claw settings.
Okay.
So claw settings and bezel settings. So these findings that I've tried casting before and just normal sand casting setup, just using gravity. Mixed results. Most of the time the claws don't form properly. But in theory, using the vacuum assistance, those claws should form perfectly almost every time. I say in theory because I haven't actually done it yet. And what better way to give it a go for the first time than with a live audience? My favorite.
You're a brave person, Kirra-lea.
No pressure, no pressure.
it's all part of jewellery making, isn't it? Giving something a go. And
it is. But I also sort of thought a lot of the videos I do, their designs and their casting techniques that I've done over and over and over again, and I do a lot of things instinctually to make it cast properly, and I forget to tell people everything that I know because I just know how to do it. So I thought maybe doing things for the first time and then problem solving together might be more educational for people at home. If something doesn't work out straight away for them, maybe I'll give them a bit of a toolbox of troubleshooting techniques.
You're a brave woman. Well done. Yes. Yeah, we'll all go on the adventure with you together.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into it. I might pick a bit of a safe design to begin with. You know what? Let's just start off by doing the bezel setting.
Okay.
So the idea behind casting these components separately is then so you can solder them onto other pieces. So maybe you've got a ring that you need to make, but you can't sand cast it all in one piece because of the design, but you can sand cast it in components and solder the pieces together. The other thing is everything I show you here can also be applied to other designs. So if maybe you're doing pendants or you are doing rings, perhaps, you can apply what we're doing here to your designs at home. Maybe. We'll see. All right, but we'll start off with the simple one, and then we'll go up to the claw settings. And I've got some pretty crazy looking claw settings there that we could try out today as well and just see if it works.
Okay.
As usual, I've got my my mail flask, and I flipped it lip side down, and then I'm just going to pack it with clay from behind, and then I'm going to compress it with my hammer. And let's just scrape that all off, flip it over, and put on some corn flour. All right, let's get our little doobie, push it in to more than halfway, not all the way in. I'm just letting a little bit of that bezel setting stick out of the clay, mostly so I have a nice impression on my female side. But the female side is going to be predominantly filled with a sprue and a funnel. So I do want most of my setting to be on the male half. And I find this this is the same with all of my settings that I've cast.
Okay.
So you just want a little bit of that setting sticking up out of the clay so that on your female side you have that corresponding impression so you know where to line everything up.
Yep.
But the main face, the hero part, is going to be on the male side. And I'd even go as far as to push it in a little bit deeper. Let's pull that out. Okay. So on this female side, I'm just going to make this all sprue now. So I'm going to use my straw, and I'm just going to cut all the way through. And then I'm going to do my funnel. I'm going to make sure that that funnel and sprue hole are nice and clean. So I like to use the back of my paintbrush to just get in there and consolidate all those loose bits of clay. All right. Now, I would normally do air vents, and I would normally do air vents on the side that has my sprue and funnel. But because we have the vacuum table, it's going to be drawing all of the gases and metal and everything down. So having air vents on top there's no point. That's not where the air's going. It's going to be sucked downwards. So I'm not going to put any air vents in, I reckon. I'm just going to leave it as it is. let's see how that goes.
Okay, so just while you're organising yourself there, I'll just welcome our viewers this morning. We've got a nice little audience on board. And you're in for a treat because Kirra-lea is going to do a world first. She's experimenting with this vacuum-assisted casting, and she's doing a setting. And we're all going to enjoy discovering whether she succeeded or not together. So if you'd like to introduce yourself by just saying where you're from, that'd be lovely. Just in the comments.
Getting myself organised, as you said.
That's right.
Let's just move this stuff out of the way. All right. I might just move this just over a little bit, if I can, without making people feel nauseous. So I've got my extractor here, so that I'm sucking all the bad particles, smoke particles, away from me and my breathing space.
Excellent.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt this metal, and then once it's molten, instead of rolling melt, and it's ready to be poured, then I'll turn the vacuum cleaner on and pour the metal down the hole. I could have it on the whole time, but I'm guessing it's going to be really, really noisy for you guys, so I'm going to put it on last second.
Okay.
All right, let's get to melting.
So Kirra-lea, the vacuum will be sucking through the actual clay, is that right?
Through the clay, that's it.
Wow, it's pretty dense. Okay, and so obviously no metal's going to get through that clay. It's just going to be air that's going to get through it.
No, it shouldn't.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to turn the vacuum on now, okay? I'm going to do it with my foot.
Okay. Oh, rightio. Very clever.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but none of the smoke was coming out the top because it was all being sucked down the bottom. But now the smoke's coming out and it's going here.
Okay.
So that's a good indication that it was working, that the vacuum was sucking the smoke and the gases through the clay.
Yep.
But let's have a little look at what we've made.
I want you to rate this out of 10, Kirra-lea. Okay.
My casting.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. 10 out of 10.
Wow.
All right, let me get that out for you guys. Well, there's burnt clay inside of the setting.
But that's okay, isn't it?
That's okay. We can get that out later. So there's a little bit of flashing here. That's all right. If I did this again, it just means I would push the clay together a little bit better right at the end before I was about to cast.
Okay.
So that just means that the when I close the mold, the two clay halves on the inside weren't super tight. So I'd close it up, and next time I'd just give it a little bit of a press to make sure those two clay halves are super snug. So that's why I've got that little line, that little bit of flashing.
Okay.
But otherwise, the settings, where are we? There we go. It's completely formed. A nice crispy, where are we going? There we go. Nice crispy, oh wow. There we go. Edges on that bezel, which is good to see.
So how long would it take you to clean that up?
Not too long. I probably wouldn't bother about bulk cutting this. I'd probably just cut it straight through. And then, so because the sprue has created like a backing plate, I'd either leave the backing plate there depending on the design if I needed it, or I'd drill straight through and open it up completely. So, I mean, this is silver, and I made this tubing from a piece of silver tubing. Okay, so most people are like, why won't you just use the silver tubing? But what if you needed to make it out of gold and you don't have gold tubing?
Yeah.
That's what it's mostly for making gold settings. Yeah. All right, that's good. So let's up it a little bit. Let's make it a little bit harder.
Okay, that's what I'd like to see. It's like putting more weights on the bar.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So we can cast tubing. Awesome. Can we cast claws? All right. So I'm going to pack this male half again. Compress. And I'm going to flip it over. Oh, wow. Now, you were talking about, will the metal be sucked through the clay and into my vacuum table? So no, because I didn't put air vents leading down. If I was to put air vents on the bottom half, the half that's sitting on the vacuum table, then yes, the metal may be drawn through those air vents. And then I may have, then I may melt my vacuum table. It's something to keep in mind. All right, so I'm going for this, where are we? There we go. This 4-claw setting.
Yep.
Let's see if we can cast that. So pushing it into I'm making sure all those prongs, all of the claws are nice and straight and square so that when I push it in, I can also pull it out of the clay nice and easy. It's not going to get caught anywhere. And again, I'm pushing it mostly into the male half. So there's only going to be a little bit of it sticking out for the female half, just so I can line up where all the sprues and funnels are.
Okay. And you're going to avoid that collar on this time?
Yeah, I'll do better.
Okay.
All right. Loose, crumbly bits of clay. Make sure it's all nice and packed down with your thumb and fingers. And then just a big old handful. And let's compress that. Alrighty. So just like I did last time, I'm just going to push this setting in a little bit deeper on this side again. Because the part of the impression on the female side, this is going to be lost with sprue. So to make up for the loss of this little bit of the setting, I'm pushing it in deeper this side so that I still get the full setting. So let's carefully pull that out with some tweezers. Make sure just go straight up and down so that we're not pulling out any clay. There we go. Now let's screw up this side. I'm just going to draw straight through the back of that setting. And let's carve out a funnel. All right, now let's make sure that's nice and clean so there's no loose clay. We'll make sure that that funnel and that sprue hole are clear of obstructions. Cool. Clean, clean, clean. All right. No air vents, right?
Exactly.
That's it. So let's close that up and cast, but this time I'm going to actually close it a bit better. So at the moment, because I pressed that setting deeper into this side and I've sprued up on this side, the clay was smack tight together when I first made the mold, and then I pressed that setting in a little bit deeper, and then I made that sprue, and maybe when I close the mold, they're not tight together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on this clay, just gently, fingers underneath, thumbs on top, gently pressing on the clay component, and that should bring those clay halves back to being really tight together. So we should have way less flashing, way less of that that spillage.
Okay, time will tell.
That's it. Okay, pop that on the little table. Get some metal. Maybe that. Too much. There we go. Woo. All right, again, I'm going to melt this, and then I'm going to turn the vacuum cleaner on with my foot. I could have it on the whole time, but I don't think I'll be able to hear Peter if he asks me any questions. Let's go.
We're all waiting here with bated breath,
Yeah.
anxious for this upcoming reveal.
Yeah, I'm not nervous.
Why are you shaking?
It's not like I'm live or anything, right?
No, we're going to an international audience.
All right, I'm going to chuck this vacuum on now.
Okay.
All right. And again, notice there was no smoke coming out the top of this, so it means that all of that, the vacuum was working. It was dragging it through the clay, but I don't know if you can see now, there's some smoke coming off the top. Yeah. All right, let's open this up and see if we've got some claws, some fully formed claws.
So you're, well, this will be exciting. Here we go.
Yeah. Awesome.
Here she comes. The big reveal.
This is it.
It's like being an archaeologist, really, isn't
it? A little bit, isn't it? Literally unearthing it.
Yeah, Kirra-lea's dig.
That's it. Cool. All right, so I still did get a bit of flashing. So maybe, what am I doing there? Maybe I didn't push it together enough. Still.
But it's no big deal.
No. It's just, look, it's better to have a bit of extra metal because you can always remove it. If you don't have, if you don't have enough, if you've got holes, that's the problem. All right, I'm just trying to get all the clay off it so you guys can see a bit better, but that'll have to do. So claws are formed. There's just clay on them.
Yeah.
Ooh. And the base of that setting is really nice and crispy as well. Like it's got the square edges, which I know is a little bit hard for you guys to see. How do I get it so you guys can see that?
If you put it against your hand.
Yeah, the molten hot metal. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Just press it firmly into.
All right, but Peter, what can we do? Can we put photographs in the comments after this?
Yeah, sure. That'd be good.
Easy. All right. Yeah. So I'm still getting a little bit of that flashing. So I'm going to do another setting with claws, and I'm going to really try and work on not having that flashing. So let's give that a go. I mean, it's not a big problem, but it's something that I can work through with you guys and show you how I can try and figure out to avoid that. And you know what I do sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit lazy?
What do you do, Kirra-lea?
Pull the clay out of the female side.
Yeah.
With the male half, see how there's just a little bit of, just a divot? Yeah. Sometimes, instead of repacking the whole thing, I'll just get a bit of clay and I'll just smush over it. There you go, packed.
Our secret. No one else knows.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. All right, let's tack that up again. So another thing to keep in mind with this vacuum-assisted casting is that the gases and smoke and the suction itself has to travel through the clay. So you can't overly compact your clay. So I have had it where I've got a pendant where it was really, really detailed, and I wanted to pick up as much detail as possible. So I really flogged the clay to pick up all those minute bits of detail. And it looked awesome. The mold looked so perfect and crispy. But every time I tried to cast with the vacuum, it wasn't working. And it turned out I had over-compacted my clay, and the suction wasn't able to draw through the clay because those little clay grains were so tightly compacted together, there was no room for anything to move. So I just had to pack it again, but lighter, and then it worked wonderfully. So something to keep in mind.
So I'm a bit worried about the health of your vacuum cleaner, though, with all that smoke going into it.
It'll be fine. I want a new one anyway.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to try this setting, which I've never tried casting before. Let's see if I can. Ooh, I know. All right. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I can already tell it's not going to work. It's the wrong shape.
Okay. The geometry just doesn't lend itself to it?
You know what? Maybe we'll turn it around and do the other way. Let's try that. Maybe we'll go this way. Yeah, okay. It has to be upside down. I can't put it claw down. I have to put it bum down for it to work. All right. That's fine. Loose crumbly bits of clay. Make sure it's all nice and tightly packed with your thumbs and fingers. And then compress. But not too much, remember?
So will you be able to pull it out of the female side okay?
Yeah, it should be fine. All right, let's open that up. Cool. All right, so I don't have a big ass.
Beg your pardon?
Sorry, I don't have a big lump of clay in the. Where are we? In the middle. And I should, because this is a hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually put a bit of clay in the middle of that setting. And I'm going to close it up and compress it again. But again, remembering not to go too hardcore. Just the regular amount of compression is fine. Just try not to, do it too much. That's much better. Okay, see how I've got that little niblet of clay?
Yeah.
Ooh, where are we? There we go. Oh my gosh.
And
that's what we want.
It's fine enough to give a good result?
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get this out of the clay. Gently pull it straight up. All right.
You got to get that back on top and line it all up.
Yeah. So I'm going to do something a little bit different because of the way I had to make this mold. I need to sprue it up from the back still.
Mm.
But if I did that, that would take up the entirety of this beautiful scalloped back. So I'm going to try and do a much smaller sprue. So I'm going to use this little needle tool to poke through, just so I can find myself, and then I'm going to carve out a funnel here. And I'm going to poke through again because I've lost where I was. There we go. All right. So I can't have a giant 6mm sprue on the back of that tiny little pendant because it comes to a perfect little point. And I would completely, mess up the design. So I'm going to go for a much smaller sprue this time.
Okay.
I'm going to go for something that's maybe about 3mm, 2mm, 2.5.
Now, just while you're doing that, Kirra-lea, I've just noticed we've got a couple of comments. So Jess is barracking for you. See, she's saying you've got this. So well done. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Encouragement, Jess. And Tony says, why wouldn't the breathers be enough to assist the vacuum or ones down to the vacuum area? I can't understand why this would fail when in traditional invested vacuum casting you are debubbleizing to remove air bubbles. Did you follow that?
Why wouldn't they be enough to assist the vacuum? Well, I don't have any air vents, so I don't have any breathers, if that's what breathers are.
Right, yeah.
Don't have them. So I don't have them, I think, mostly because, firstly, I don't need them because everything's been casting great so far. But I don't want the metal to be sucked through the flask all the way through the clay and then into my vacuum cleaner and melt things. I'm not sure if that helps answer the question.
I think you're on the right track with that answer. Maybe Tony might be able to clarify that if she needs more clarification.
Debubbleizing to remove air. Well, this sand casting and investment casting are very, very different. You can't really compare the two. So I've done a tiny little screw. I don't know if you guys can see that.
We're just losing your voice a bit, Kirra-lea.
Sorry.
That's better.
There you go. So I've done a little sprue. And I'm going to get my setting and I'm going to put it back in to crispify everything. Because by doing that sprue, I probably disturbed that clay a little bit.
So that's straight out of the Oxford Concise Dictionary?
Yeah.
Crispify?
Crispify. It's a good one. You can use it.
It is a good one. I like it.
All right, let's get that out. I just see a little bit of clay in there. I'm just going to tidy that up. Cool. All right. So let's close that up. And I'm going to try pressing a little bit harder this time on the clay section to encourage those two clay halves to really press against each other and form a perfect little join so that we don't have any flashing. We don't have that line of parting.
Okay. And obviously you don't want to destroy your shape.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to go too hard. All right, so I can see Tony has clarified a little bit of what he was talking about. Use breathers in Delft clay, but I haven't tried the vacuum-assisted method. I was talking about overly compacting the clay. Yes. So if you have breathers, if you have air vents, it doesn't really matter if you've over-compacted your clay as much, but it really does depend on the design. So if you've got lots of fine detail all together, packed together, the air can't, and the gases and the metal, all that sort of stuff, it can't get to the air vents in enough time. I don't know how to explain it properly, but pretty much over compacting the clay is not a good idea. You won't get as much degassing. You can't always get all the air vents in all the right places without disrupting your design. I don't have the right words. I'm so sorry.
Well, the gas has to get out to allow the metal to get in. But so you need it to be loose enough for the gas to get out, but not
particularly
not
in
too
the
loose,
vacuum
and
assistance.
to be tight enough to keep some good form.
Yeah. Particularly with the vacuum assistance. But I have had other designs where I'm not using the vacuum assistance and I've over compacted the clay to pick up all the detail, but I just can't put in enough air vents in the right spots without disturbing that design to allow the degassing. So I found just not compacting the clay as much allowed enough degassing to happen to pick up more of the detail and disturb the design less. So I hope that helps. Alrighty.
Tony says she understands. I think Tony's a lady, and you're used to male Tonys. So
yeah, because my fiance is Tony. So I guess I do. I think all Tonys are boys. Sorry. Alrighty. I'm just gonna chop the sprue off the back of this one, and I'm gonna reuse that metal. Alrighty. Let's melt this down. Alright, looking good.
Okie doke. We're all waiting with bated breath.
Let's do some yoga to get this vacuum cleaner on. Cool. So what I'm hoping for is way less flashing. I'm also hoping the claws are going to form, obviously, but I'm pretty sure they will.
Because it looked a pretty tricky setting to me. We're going to get the reveal, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So far looks good.
Just stick your fan on there for a bit if you want, Kirra-lea.
Oh, it is on.
It is on? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. And great success with flashing. Cool. There we go. So I don't have a mess down here where the two
that collar was.
joints. So that looks pretty clean. I do have a little bit of extra clay, teeny tiny bits on the top of these claws, but it's like, honestly, you could probably just flick it off. That is looking really nice and crispy. I'm very happy with all of this so far.
So what are you going to rate that one out of 10 then, Kirra-lea?
Oh, look, God. 11 out of 10. I'm so chuffed this is working.
There you go. 11 out of 10. You saw it here
like
first.
I said, in theory, I thought it was going to work, but I hadn't actually put any of it into practice. So I wasn't even sure if I was going to give you guys anything today. So I reckon we've got 10 more minutes. So let's just go bonkers, okay?
Uh-oh, she's gone crazy.
Let's go crazy.
What are you going to do now?
Well, okay, I'll show you this setting that I've got here.
Yeah.
That I pulled out just as a, like, wouldn't it be nice? Oh, can we see? Come on, phone. There we go. So it's got like, where are we? Got like a million claws on it.
Yeah, and you're not exaggerating.
Yeah. No exaggerations. So I thought I'd put that there as a, like, I don't know. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if I could cast that? And who knows? I think we might be able to. So let's do this super quick.
So Tony's just asked a question also about do AJS supply the vacuum setup? And I don't believe AJS do at this stage, Tony, but Kirra-lea got hers from a gentleman overseas, and we could pop a link to that in the video as well.
Yeah, easy. Let's switch this into
Whoops.
Okay, good. Still a little laptop. Sure. So I think I might just go for one big screw at the back of this.
Your voice is a bit muffled again, Kirra-lea.
Not much I can do about it, so sorry.
No, it's good now. Yeah.
Alright. I'm not in control. It might just be internet connection, maybe. I'm with Elon Musk. So if it's between satellites, it gets a bit dodgy because it's got to jump from one satellite to another one.
Oh, okay.
So that could be what it is. So I just pressed that setting in a little bit deeper on this male half because half of the setting's on the female half here and most of that's going to become sprue. So to make sure I'm not missing out on any of that setting, I've just pushed it deeper into the other side. All right, now let's just go for... It's going to do a nice big screw in the middle. All right, carve out this funnel. Get it nice and tidy. So I might just press the back of this setting into this female half.
Good.
Just to crispy it all up and make sure there's no loose bits of clay and silly spots.
To crispify it, in other words.
Yeah. Well, not that I'm really going to be using this back part, but I just don't want it to cause any problems with the flow of the metal. Alrighty, so again, no air vents. Now, what I did to reduce flashing last time was instead of just thumb and fingers around the outside, I actually focused more on exactly where the setting was and pressed down on the clay there. Not so much that I'm completely crushing the impression on the inside, but enough, I hope, to make those two clay halves, come back into alignment. So let's see if that's going to work. All right, let's chuck it on the bed. Step off this screw. So I do a fair bit of sand casting components, sand casting settings in gold. So when I have custom orders, instead of because I'm in Tasmania now, it takes like double the time for anything to come from the mainland. So, if when I was in Melbourne, next day. Here, could be a week. So if I really need a setting, instead of ordering it online, I just have a whole range of silver settings that I will sand cast in gold. And because they're silver, I can manipulate them to be a bigger size or a smaller size or a different shape if I really need it to, and then I'll sand cast them in gold. And so far, it has been a bit of a struggle to make it happen. So I'm very, very excited that this vacuum table has just taken out that struggle. It seems to be guaranteed every time it will work. Thank goodness. Because I used to do a lot of stuffing around trying to cast really tiny settings. So here we go. Let's melt this down and see if the real crazy one works.
Right. This is a high degree of difficulty.
Yeah, that's it. Alrighty. Let
We're
us
waiting
see.
anxiously again, Kirra-lea. Here's the big reveal.
Oh, okay. Already, without even putting it out.
Success.
Look at that.
Wow.
I already know it's going to be just stellar. Wow. And
Yes.
flashing is pretty much non-existent. All right. So just like compressing the clay a little bit more directly seems to be doing the trick rather than going around the perimeter.
Yeah.
See, there we go. I was able to troubleshoot something live with you guys.
That's very brave, and you deserved to get there, so well done.
You deserve the success. Awesome. All right, let's just come in a little bit closer.
Rightio, you got to rate this out of 10 as well.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say with this one, let's go 9. Because I think I've been a little bit overly cautious with compressing the clay because I've had issues with it being over compacted, and so my clay isn't compacted as much as it could be. So the detail is not the detail, but it's a little bit rough. I don't know if you guys can see, but the casting skin texture is a bit rougher than I would like it. But that is a direct result from me not compressing the clay as much as I normally would like to, because I'm worried I'm going to over compact it and cause issues with degassing. So I think it's just a bit of like playing around until you get the right pressure, the right pressure to achieve. That's it, to achieve really clean results, but still allow the vacuum to suck through the clay. Yeah,
well done.
That's it, folks.
So, Kirra-lea, it's been great to have you back on board again, and congratulations on being so brave and achieving results in front of us, doing a little bit of troubleshooting. And I'll just put your microphone back on. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
And so that's there for people to view in the future as well. So I hope they have fun doing that. I'm sure they will, and share in the joy as we watch the reveals.
Yes. And I will take a close-up photo of these castings and send it through to you, Peter, so you can put that in the comments.
Okay.
And I'll give you the link to Craig Dabler with the vacuum table. If people are like me, I can't be bothered like building it themselves, and they just want to, give someone a bit of money and have it done for them, which is just fine too, because Craig Dabler is a lovely guy, sole trader. He just like loves sand casting and makes a bunch of sand casting tools. He's not like a big company or anything. He's just like a dude in a shed. But a very lovely person. So if you're going to give your money to somewhere, that's a great way to do it, rather than Bunnings. But Bunnings is fine too. Bunnings is fine too.
No worries. Well, Kirra-lea, thanks very much for today, and we'll look forward to seeing you and all of our online viewers again real soon. And thank you, Tony, for your contribution.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. It was good to have the interaction.
Indeed. Okay, catch you later then.
Bye.